Alright, and this is my review talk about thingy of GTA 5. Now, I realize I haven't uploaded the full playthrough yet, but that might take some time. So I'm going to do it now that I've beaten it. So, spoilers, warning, there's going to be spoilers. I will warn you before I talk about them. But just beware, I might slip, so. So this game, GTA 5, the hype around it was massive. I didn't pay attention to a single word of it. The only thing that I ever heard was misogyny, sexism, and all that horseshit. That's all I ever heard about the game. And I was like, yeah, all this negative attention, all this attention, fuck that, I'm out. And my friend kept bugging me to play it ever since it was released, and I was like, nah. So now, eventually, I did decide to play it, obviously. And oh my goodness. I can definitely understand why it was hyped, and I can understand the my friend nagging me to play it. I can understand it all. Because the game, holy shit, the game is massive. I mean, I thought other GTAs were massive. I mean, shit, when I was a kid, I played GTA 3, and I was like, wow, this is a huge world. This is great. And then GTA, Vice City, San Andreas, which was my favorite. I was like, wow, this is a huge map, especially San Andreas. San Andreas had the biggest map, and I was like, yo, this is amazing. I traversed all of it on a jetpack, and I just love the open-endedness and the freedom of it to do whatever the hell you wanted, essentially. Like, most of my hours in San Andreas were not playing the story. The only reason most of my hours in this game are playing the story is because I did a playthrough of it. But, yeah, and then you look at the scope of this game, it's massive. It's Red Dead Redemption big. It's bigger than that, probably. And there's multiple layers to the city as well. There's the underground tunnels, then there's the sea, because you can deep sea dive, and then there's the sky and just the regular roads, the ground level. It's crazy, and it's so massive. There's just so much to do. There's a lot of map to explore. There's a lot of side missions to do. There's a lot of random missions to do. There's 69 story missions to do. That includes all the different endings. Since I picked one and I didn't get all the missions unlocked. So there's like 64 missions if you just pick an ending, like a singular ending, but there's 69 with all of them included. Um, there are so many random, just random missions, and it's such a full world, and there's just so much to do. It's just when you first start, it actually feels it made me feel a little overwhelmed, because I looked at the map that wasn't even unlocked, and I was like, oh my god, this is huge. And the scope of the game is just great. It definitely is just so much to explore. Um, and of course the world doesn't feel empty, which is important, because if it was a huge world and it felt empty, it would be boring. But there's mountainous regions, there's mountainous regions, there's desert regions. I mean, of course they feel a bit like a wilderness, but there's always something in them to do. You can go into the mountains and the forest and hunt. It's just so much. Hunting as well. So much to do. So that's, yeah. Now the gameplay feels to me like a hybrid between GTA 4 and Max Payne 3, which is no surprise considering it's using the same engine, and it also feels a little bit like Red Dead. I assume that they use the same engine. In fact, I'm pretty sure they do. With the same kind of effects and everything else. You know, the Euphoria and the Bullet engine and all that other stuff. But yeah, it feels it feels like Max Payne, Red Dead, with a little bit of GTA 4 in there. That's what it feels like. So yeah, it feels like a bit of all of those. So yeah, it plays fine. You can either do free aim, hard lock, or classic GTA aiming, which I like because I grew up playing the classic GTAs, so that suited me the best. So I guess I should move on to the characters now. The characters, holy moly. There is quite a bit of debate about I don't even know. There's quite a bit around who people like, who people don't like, but I'm just going to lay it out right now. The characters are all three of the main characters are very all fleshed out. I would say Franklin is the least fleshed out. Michael and Trevor are the most fleshed out characters. You know more about Michael and Trevor than you do Franklin, which I don't like that. I think that the one detractor from the game is how criminally underused Franklin is on his own missions. He was basically the tutorial guy, and then it got you in on the deep end with Michael and Trevor. But I mean, it's a small minus, but you know, it doesn't detract from the fact they are all three of them great characters. Now, my feelings towards Michael have not been too hot because spoiler territory. I feel he's a snitch, and I feel like he's kind of done bad to Trevor. You know, he kept the fact that okay, I'm getting into serious spoilers here. He kept the fact that he was dead from Trevor for 10 years. He also kept the fact that Brad was dead the entire time. Now, I don't think that Michael even knew that himself, but that's kind of a bad thing on the detective that he worked with to snitch on the crew. Called Dave, and I think it's fucked up that they lied to Trevor for so long, and I get that he's like unhinged, hardcore, but at the same time he's incredibly loyal. He has a very good sense of loyalty, and all this other stuff. I mean, he loves Michael's kids. I don't know, and he would protect them. You know, he's a very loyal dude, and I feel Michael did him bad by doing that, but that doesn't detract. I mean, that kind of made me like Michael a lot less, but Michael is still a very interesting character, and he has his reasons for doing what he does. You know, he has a family, but he took the only way he knew out, and it didn't. You know, Trevor's such an oddball that it could never have worked. But yeah, so I think that's why I was a little frosty to him, but I don't hate any of them. They're all good, great characters, and Trevor is absolutely hilarious. He is I guess, the insane comic relief sometimes, and he can also be just the insane awkwardness. Yeah, Trevor is just an amazing character. I really, really like him. He's a great character. He provides laughs at nearly every scene he's in, and when he's not providing laughs, he's providing a different kind of thing. Like, he's providing uncomfortableness and just on edge, putting you on edge, because he's a little unpredictable like that. And Franklin, he's the most likable character in the game. And that's why it's such a shame he's the most underused, because he's the most likable. But I guess likable characters, likable, nice guys like Franklin don't drive a GTA story, I suppose. Lester was fine. He's a vindictive nerd. I hated the FIB agents, most of them, if not all of them. Yeah. So, the voice acting and the actual acting, because this was mocapped and voiced at the same time, it's a really good performance by all of the actors involved. There was not a single one that was bad or anything. They were all great. Oh, and I hate Michael's family. Not so much Amanda, although kind of, but Jimmy in particular. Ugh. Jimmy is such a shit. I hate him so much. Spiking your father and then using it against him to get the family out, like, come on. That's just such a dick move. I mean, it's such a dick move. But yeah, everything was very well acted. Steve Ogg, whatever his name is, he did a great job. Ned, I think, he did a great job too, and Fontano, he did a really good job for somebody who's not trained at all. So yeah, the acting was great in this game. The graphics were good too. Of course, it's on a PS3, so it does have its limitations compared to like a PC or something. But for what it is, man, it looks amazing. For an open world game that's this big, it looks really good. It can't be the best looking game that's ever been released because it is this massive open world. But for what it is, for what it tries to be, it looks amazing. So, and I'm sure if the ports are good, those will look even better. It's got this really involved stock market as well. Both an online stock market being affected by players and an offline one. Oh, that's crazy as well. An actual stock market. What the fuck? Like, oh my god, it's just so crazy. Oh, it's just insane. The amount of depth that's in this game. And there's mini games and all that other shit. Like, oh my goodness. Oh, finally, I should talk about controversies. Sexism. The GameSpot reviewer and whoever else jumped on sexism, you are so stupid. So stupid. Like, the issue of sexism never even came to my mind. The only time it came into my head was to remind myself how stupid you guys were. Because I don't think the reaction to these people doing it was justified. But fuck me. All it was clickbait and just needlessly complaining about shit. That's all it was. Needlessly complaining about a non-issue. Because this is a GTA game. Trevor tells strippers he loves them. That you can get lap dances. And it's such a non-issue that it should never have been brought up to begin with. And then the torture scene, for fuck's sake. I didn't even know that was a thing. All I heard was sexism. I never heard about a torture scene. That hit me completely off guard. And I was like, that made me feel uncomfortable. I've been playing, I guess, violent video games since I was a kid, and it made me feel a bit uncomfortable. And it did its job perfectly. But I never heard shit about that. All I heard was sexism, misogyny. Misplaced. Misplaced, just picking on shit. That's all it was. Clickbait. Bullshit. But, yeah, that was a very effective scene, and I think what Trevor says after it is so true. But yeah, overall, I really, really enjoyed this game. It's. I cannot think of a flaw. I've been thinking about this, and I cannot think of a flaw so far. I just cannot. Everything's fine. Everything's perfect to me. So I'm inclined to give it a 10. And that's probably all the time I have left, so a 10, yeah. I'm out. Bye. Damn you.